So you wanna be a picture book writer, then you gotta write picture books. And you're gonna need a bucket load of bright ideas for titles, plots, and hooks. If you're partial to prose or you're raring to rhyme, then repeat after me, it's a challenge, but I'm gonna tackle each story 1 month at a time with 12 by 12.
I feel like these three topics are three legs on a stool. So if one of these is shaky or not done very well, your efforts will not be as effective in helping you meet your goals. So let's start with thinking about what your goals might be. So why do authors need a website? You're going to get many varied answers on this, and I'd like to give a big hat tip to author and writer Jane Friedman for some of the information in this section of the talk. I would suggest that if you don't already subscribe to Jane's free newsletter, Electric Speed, I would highly recommend it. She sends it out every weekend, and it's always full of writing advice and tips. Her website also has extensive advice on all areas of publishing and entrepreneurship for authors. She also has a book out called The Business of Being a Writer, which you might find helpful. And I do have it listed in the handout that will get sent out after today's presentation. But according to Jane, if you're pre-published, there are 3 reasons for you to have a website. The first one is to get over the learning curve. So it's better to have practice in creating a site and something in place while you still have the time to explore, and before you feel pressure by perhaps a publisher once you have a contract and a book deal that, oh, you need to have an author website. So getting started on this process ahead of time gives you that time to play and explore before you feel like you really need to have one. The second reason is to build awareness of yourself as a creator. So as consumers, we're more likely to buy a product that we've heard of or that we're familiar with. So having an author website, even before you're published, helps you establish a presence for yourself online. So if someone were to look you up, they would find something rather than find nothing at all, or maybe find something that's not what you want them to find, not something that's related to your professional work that you would like to highlight. The third thing that she says about being pre-published and having a website is to open up new opportunities. So if you have your credits and your contact info available online on a website, it might open up opportunities for you that otherwise you could miss. It is true that sometimes people will look you up, and if they are working on a project and they see what you have to offer, or they see credits that you've had, they might reach out and say, hey, this is something that you might be interested in. So it really does behoove you to have that presence there so that those opportunities could happen. So we live in this age of Google, and I think the other thing to always think about when you're pre-published is that most agents and even editors, if they're considering representing you or offering a contract, are likely to make just at least even a quick search of you. Very good to be in charge of your own digital footprint. Julie mentioned that idea earlier. Be in charge of that so that you can curate what people see when they search for your name. If you are a published author already, essentially your website would be for your readers. So those might be your actual target audience if you write for older readers, or it might be for gatekeepers, so parents or librarians or teachers, or it could be a mix of both. So you will need to keep in mind your audience when you're thinking about the look and deciding on the look of your website and the content of your website. So to that idea of developing a web presence, that's one of the most important reasons to have a website. So the first step is in establishing yourself is to see what's already out there. So this, I know, sounds like a scary thing, but you should Google yourself. In my work with students in technology, we talk about digital citizenship sometimes, and I've done this with myself in front of the students even, although I knew what was going to show up before I did it. But it's an interesting thing, and kids sometimes will Google themselves after we've talked about it, and they'll find things like their parents have posted. So it is a good habit to periodically look up your name and see what shows up. So I did this for you, and I'll talk about some of the results. So this is a screenshot of the first page of my Google results when I search for my own name. And what I did at the top, you'll see that there's a yellow circle showing the search term, which is my name, and then red stars next to each of the results that is actually me. So when you search for your name, you'll see anything with a red star here on the page is me. And then other things are not. So what I found when I did this search, I think I did this on Sunday, was that 8 of the top 10 first page results were me, which is great. That was something I was glad to see. But it also gives me food for thought. So some of the things that I'm noticing is that some things that show up on the second page of results, when I click the button at the bottom of Google to go to the next page, some of those things are things that I would have liked to have shown up on the first page. So an example of that is my Goodreads page for my book. If my book isn't out until next year, but I have a page on Goodreads, and I would love for people to be able to find that so they could put it on their shelf as they want to read it and eventually perhaps pre-order the book. So that's something that I'll think about is with my author web, what can I do to make sure that I'm listing that information so that it shows up higher in the search result. It's not necessarily important that you have lots of results on the first page. When you search your name, especially if you have a name that might be more common, there are other people with that same name, you might not have as many results, obviously, for your name. But what you should pay attention to is what's missing. So pay attention to what do you wish that people would see if they were searching for information about you? And that's going to be food for thought when you start to curate your web. The next thing is so when again, thinking about this idea, I'm happy about what I see on that first page is that people can instantly see that I'm a middle grade author. They can instantly see that I'm an educator. I did this search back several months ago when I did a similar presentation, and the results have changed in that 7 months or so. So one thing was that my Instagram page, for example, was not showing up on my first page at all. And that makes sense to me because at that time I was very new to Instagram. I was not posting very much. Now that I'm connecting with more teachers and educators and authors on there, it's showing up higher in the results. So again, think about what it is that you see that is missing and what you might just consider as you're starting to work on some of the other elements that we're going to talk about. So the next thing is when you're thinking about Google and what information is out there, there is something called a knowledge panel. And this is actually something that I'm newer to finding out. So when you're searching for information online, if it's a well-known person, sometimes what Google will do is put a panel on the right side of the page with information, and it's associated with what you're searching for. You can, as an author, you can claim the knowledge panel that shows up so that you can curate it a bit more.
Do it together so never you fear. It's a handy little way to help you kick into gear. You're amazing, exciting, look out, 'cause you're writing 12 by 12.
12 manuscripts.
12 by 12.
12 picture books.
12 by 12.